Alright guys, in this video we are going to show you how to get rigged up for balloon fishing. So if you're fishing off the cliffs or if you're fishing off the beaches for mackerel, this is the simplest, easiest way to rig up. It's very effective, and we're just going to run you through exactly how to do it so you can get out there and give it a shot for yourself. Now the first thing you are going to want to get is a premium set of guardies. So these are a premium big garfish. You can get them at our Osborne Park store. And then the other thing that you're going to want to get is a Vexed flashy balloon rig or a Vexed treble balloon rig. Now we're going to show you both of these rigs, and we've got Willie from Vexed here who's going to give us a full rundown on how to actually rig your bait on one of these rigs that you can buy pre-done, ready to go, and take all the hassle out of it. So why don't you give us a bit of a rundown, Willie?
Okay, I can do that. That there is a gore. That's like a broad back or robust gar. See how he's square on top, not round? They tend to be better than the southern gars, but other baits you can use are mullet, tailor, sandmar, all that sort of stuff. Pike are very good, but they fall apart. Guardies are good in between, and they're readily available most time of the year. So this is our standard size garfish, and now I'm going to rig it up on a treble rig. So this is a Vexed treble balloon rig. Now having some people have a treble on the end of their standard J hooks, and the treble is very, very effective because the mackerel will jump out the water, they'll strike the bait, and they're either hooked or they're not. There's no playing with it. So sometimes, like those balloons out there, if you just scope around to those balloons there, one of them is at 350 and the other's at 600. So a long way out for you to be missing bites. Who wants to miss bites? I don't know. That's got a lot of hooks in it, sure, right? It does, but you know what? Some people say it's over the top, but at the end of the day, who wants to wind back an empty set of hooks? You want a fish on there, don't you? So I'll show you how to rig that. So that top hook has to go through his bill on top, or the top of his bill, but through his mouth as well. So that's what we're aiming for. So what we do is we lay him down, lay the rig down. That's where we want to be. So we know that that bottom one's got to be in the arse end of the tail. Now with these, you can put these right through. You don't have to have it, you can, with normal hooks you can't bury it inside the bait, but this one you can because you've got two parts of the treble sticking out. Alright, so there we go. So that's through. Perfect. Now the next one, obviously it's just like putting on a pilly or a meowly if you're in WA. Just want it nice and straight without too much slack. So see that, I don't really like that, it's okay, but you want to just tighten that a bit. So just go in a tiny bit further on so that's a little bit tauter, like that. Next one, following the line, his lateral line pretty much. Again, probably around there. Now this is the important one. This has to come out the top. Now don't twist the hook around because it'll twist it. So I have to use this one. See how that one there is going to be the one that'll go through the bill and coming out of there. So what we do is we whack it in the bottom. Put your finger there so you don't break the bill. If you break the top of his mouth, go get another guardie. It's not worth doing if you break the top of his mouth. So clear it there. Here we go, a perfect bait. Now you can whiz it out like that if you like. Obviously we slide that down over his bill, what's left of his bill. Always, if you're catching your own gars, leave the bills on them. But if you're not, don't stress. Bait thread, so that's Vexed bottom meat thread. But there's the one I prefer for this is the big bait thread. There's one called big bait thread, and what it is just a slightly thicker version of this bottom meat thread. So what we need to do is basically just start it from, you can start it from either end, but I tend to start it from the tail. And this again isn't rocket science, you just have to make sure you secure the hooks and the wire to the bait. So if there's floppy wire, sometimes it pulls free and then the hooks pull out. I'm not going to mummify this because it'll take too long, but depending on how windy it is, how bashy it is, if it's really windy, your bait gets the crap bashed out of it. Today it's not super windy, so we're not going to have too much bashing. Alrighty, you get the picture, so I'm not going to do all the way. And then always cinch that in the middle of the bait, not up either end. So 2 half hitches. And then pull that in. Okay, look at that. That there is a bait. That there is, I'll normally just put a bit of bait thread on there and then pull the, I don't like big squids. I don't like the 8-inch squids covering the bait because you put off some fish. If there's not a lot of wind around, you'll definitely put off some fish hitting it because they don't want to eat plastic. They want to eat bait. So you definitely get a lot less long-tailed tuna if you put a big 8-inch skirt over the bait. That's all you need, something like that. It's streamlined, it's going to skip, it's going to attract, it's going to keep the line or the wire in the front of the bait. So whack that out. Anywhere a mackerel hits that, he's going to have a serious problem. He's going to have a mouthful of hooks. So that there is the treble balloon ring by Vexed. Now I'm not going to repeat the dose on this one because you get the picture. I'm just going to show you the alternate rig. Now that treble balloon rig, I've never seen it anywhere. It's a rig I've used for years and years. I've never seen anyone else using that rig. Of course you've used it or your uncle's used it. Yeah, whatever, mate. But anyway, in reality, this is the more popular rig. This is the one that I'd say most ballooning guys use. So this is the Vexed flashy gas balloon rig. It's more of a traditional rig, the way we use it on the west coast here. So important that the hooks are in line. Don't have them all over the show, have them in line. It's close, it's very hard to snell them on wire in line. Right, it's not easy, but you'll work out how to do it if you're making them at home. Otherwise you can just buy one of them and it's ready to go. It's the perfect, I've made them for west coast garfish that'll carry a big southern gar or a standard size broadback. You can also put mullet and tailor on these as well. They come in 10-0 and 8-0. So 8-0 for southern gars and 10-0s for broadback gars, mullet and tailor. So yeah, you just rig it the same way as that. Do you want me to rig one up or you're good to go? I can show you how to do it. Let's do it. Okay, so you get your gore. Always have a look in the packet and try and make your gars, when you're packing in gars, if you're catching them, put them in groups of the same size. Look at that, it's absolutely perfect. So that hook has to go there. The treble's going to sit in that little V of his tail. So it's important that you don't just try and stagger the hooks where you want them. You've got to go where this rig's actually made, unless you're going to custom make a rig each time you catch gardies. So that one's going to go about there. So that hook has to go in near the black dot. That's what makes a broadback. See that black dot? Or a storm gardie? Or a robust? I go above the backbone. With the treble rig, I go straight through the middle. But with a conventional hook rig, above the backbone. And then this one on the lateral line on the backbone. This is your holder. Okay, the other one is your catcher. They do hit mid-bait. They don't swallow it from the back like a salmon or something. They do hit mid-bait, but generally your catcher is that one first back from the treble. In line. Again, this guy goes through the bottom of the jaw, up under there, and then same thing. I'm not going to mummify this one with bait thread. That there will fit in there like that. So that's absolutely perfect. See how it fits in there? And then I'll bait thread that into place. So it's not actually through the bait. It doesn't need to be. If you bait thread it properly, you really have to get some on that. That there is going to be, ouch. Of course you've got to take the point protectors off. I've seen numpties deploy baits and lures with bait protectors on the trebles, and that's it. So whip it there, all the way to the front. Again, depending on the quality of the gar. If it's a really good gar, you need less. If it's a crappy old one that's been in the bottom of a bait freezer, you'll need more. Alright, double hitch, so half hitch twice is all you need. Some guys just pull it into itself, like Luke does most nights, and then done. That there, push that down. You can go over the bill or just over the front of the gar. I'd normally put a bit of bait thread in there, which I'll do before we deploy that. And look at that for a gar. Look at the way wherever that gets hit, that's going to be trouble. You're going to get a mouth full of hooks, and the treble in the side of the face just to secure it further.
Alright guys, that's the new Vexed treble balloon rig and flashy balloon rig, and you can get all of these at tacklewest.com.au. Take the hassle out of making rigs yourself. They're cheap enough, they work, and they're ready to go.